now, with that playing of the ever-familiar theme song, we go out to the other coast of the United States and check in and see what's happening with the movies that are coming out this weekend. And for that, we go to Michael Snyder. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Alex. How's everybody doing? We've got some movies lined up, including a big one. They did it. They did it. Avengers Endgame. 3 hours and change. It's the superhero blockbuster to end all blockbusters, and it's in theaters now. Whether you like these movies or not, it's a landmark in the history of cinema. The last installment for now is out there, and this is an interlocked 22 feature film series that stretched a little over a decade. And this series was made up of movies with an ever-increasing roster of characters and varying tones from one to the next, all built on the Marvel comic book superhero universe. We got rock'em sock'em action films with corporate intrigue.
I think we know all this.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, though. It's a phenomenal situation. I like the 70s style.
How is it any more phenomenal than the James Bond run?
Because this is a singular story seeded over the 22 movies.
No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not. They just decided to make it a single story or make it look like a single story. But if they had just done Iron Man and that was it, it would have been one single movie.
Exactly. But they introduced the idea of the Avengers
This is all
Initiative
bullshit.
at the end of the first Iron Man movie.
It's all fucking bullshit.
Well, I think you're wrong. And I want to say...
Of course, I'm always wrong with you.
As the series went on, it became more and more shaped as a saga that led up to these last few movies.
That's bullshit, too, because I saw the last 2 movies, and they made no fucking sense whatsoever.
Well, have you seen the previous films?
Yes, I have, yes.
Well, they made no sense to you, but they made sense to millions and millions of other people. In any event, if you saw the previous Avengers film, Infinity War, all seemed lost. And I guess that was movie number 20 or 21. And in that one, the Mad Titan Thanos, played by, Josh Brolin, he's the series' big bad. He had claimed the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones, all of which were salted throughout the previous films. And he literally snapped his fingers to make half the people in existence disappear, including many of the superheroes who fought him, leaving just the core Avengers from the earlier films: Iron Man, played by Robert Downey Jr., Captain America, played by Chris Evans, Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson, Don Cheadle as War Machine, and Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner the Hulk, to pick up the pieces. And to say any more about this film would ruin the fun and surprises for the millions and millions of people that have seen these films and loved them.
Oh, I can tell everybody now how it ends.
Well, that would be needlessly cruel. But in any event, the Russo brothers
maybe I feel like being needlessly cruel.
Well, I think that's become your stock in trade. But honestly, the Russo brothers directed this and the first half of the 2-part tale and a couple other Marvel movies. They made great use of an enormous and talented cast and a massive CGI budget that isn't wasted here, because when it's used, it advances this massive story, and they manage considerable expectations with skill and deliver a satisfying conclusion to the saga. You'll be happy. Looks like it's over. It's over, Alex. And if you've seen certain of these movies, the action, the emotional beats, and the callbacks will resonate. In fact, honest to God, you'll laugh, you'll cry,
so when you
cheer.
say it's over, we're not going to see another Thor movie. We're not going to see another movie with Captain America. We're not going to see another any one of those other characters. No more of those movies at all, ever.
No, you'll see more of these films, but this ties it all up in a nice bow.
Then it's not over.
Well, this particular saga is. And if you haven't seen the previous movies, this isn't for you. And if you've seen them and hated them, like Present Company, yeah, don't bother. But I thoroughly loved it.
I liked some of them, but I think some of them were very well done. And then they overdid it by going to the next one and the next one and the next one. Captain America, I thought, was terrific. The original Iron Man was terrific. But the Iron Man follow-ups were boring and dull, and Captain America got weaker and weaker, and Thor got weaker and weaker.
The Captain America, the Winter Soldier, the espionage one was wonderful.
Yes, that's what I just said. But what also I'm saying is, like, for instance, the only one that got better was I didn't like the original Thor, and Thor Ragnarok was terrific.
I thought the Ant-Man films were thoroughly entertaining, mixes of heist movie and rom-com.
Because the first Ant-Man. The second one,
Well, the Iron Man, I didn't particularly like the third one, but let me just say, Guardians of the Galaxy, a wonderful surprise.
Yes.
They're integral to this story. If you have been watching these and not being a hater,
what they did is anytime they introduced a new picture, a new character, they then folded them into the Avengers. Like Captain Marvel wasn't there in the last picture.
Yeah, well, she's been elsewhere. You'll see all of that in the everything's explained in this film.
It's bullshit promotion, and it's what makes movies terrible today.
Well, there we go. Another country heard from. Moving on, The White Crow is actor-director Ralph Fiennes' engrossing realization of Russian ballet legend Rudolf Nureyev's struggle to escape the Soviet Union's totalitarian control of their citizens. I mean, they kept tabs on even their cultural ambassadors, such as members of touring dance companies. The pressure was always on, even outside the Soviet. This primarily depicts Nureyev's conflict with his mentors and his handlers and his attempt to defect to the West. The screenplay is by David Hare, who did The Hours and The Reader, which basically were better screenplays, I think. But it does manage to cover a little background material, hinting at underprivileged origins for Nureyev, like growing up in poverty and realizing he has this drive to become a dancer. And it's Rudy as a burgeoning singular talent on the verge of international stardom. Anyway, this benefits from a very well choreographed set of set pieces and the presence of Oleg Ivenko, who is a professional dancer from the Ukraine, in his first film role as Nureyev. He's not going to win any Oscars, but his moves and the tension of the defection are enough to keep this project moving, and he's surrounded by accomplished actors, including Fiennes himself as Russian ballet master Pushkin, and Adele Sharpless, who was in Blue is the Warmest Color, as a cultured French doyen, and Rudy Reuter, named Clara Saint, who helps him start thinking about defection. And there's a troupe of really great dancers. It's not terrific. It's good. I enjoyed watching it. It's not a great film, but it's a fascinating story. So a tentative recommendation for The White Crow. J.T. Leroy is a docudrama where truth is stranger than fiction, especially when the truth is fiction. It's the story of what some have dubbed a literary hoax. The creation of a nom de plume by a San Francisco-based author named Laura Albert, who wrote acclaimed books from the point of view of a gay teenage hustler named J.T. Leroy. The books were said to be semi-autobiographical and written by Leroy, and eventually Albert needed someone to portray Leroy for public appearances, so she recruited her significant other's androgynous sister, a young woman named Savannah Knoop, who spent 6 years pretending to be this celebrated author. And the movie is based on her memoir about her experiences. When people, by the way, found out about this made-up literary persona, they came down on Albert. Anyway, Savannah Knoop is played by Kristen Stewart. Diane Kruger plays Laura Albert. Laura Dern plays Laura Albert. I got my Lauras confused there for a second. Diane Kruger's in the film as playing basically Asia Argento, only they fictionalize her a little bit, so Asia Argento doesn't come after them. She's the Italian actress, daughter of Dario Argento, who wanted to make a movie out of one of the J.T. Leroy books. It's crazy.
It's pronounced Asia.
Sure. Okay. Asia Argento. I'm glad you corrected me on that. I'd hate for her to come down on me. Anyway, directed and co-written by Justin Kelly. I thought it was pretty cool stuff. I don't know how the real-life Laura Albert is going to react to this, but I thought this is a fascinating story, and they did a pretty good job. Not a great job. Again, like The White Crow, not perfect. And I have to say, Courtney Love shows up in a small role here, and I kept thinking, why? I mean, we haven't seen her in movies in a long time, but she's in J.T. Leroy. I guess she may have known the original, the author rather, and Savannah. Okay, Red Joan wraps things up. It's the fictionalized tale of a real-life female scientist from England who became an atomic spy for the USSR in the 1950s, actually starting in the late 40s, and she stuck with it. Her crimes were only uncovered many years later, and this is fictionalized. Absolutely, there is a real person who did this. But I don't know, the story is not as exciting as it should be. She's played in her elderly years by Judi Dench and in flashbacks by Sophie Cookson, and both women are fine, but the direction by a stage veteran by the name of Trevor Nunn, a name you may know, and the script itself are kind of humdrum when they should be thrilling. With a story like this, Red Joan should have been way more exciting. Are you watching anything on TV or going to the movies at all anymore?
For the most, well, I'm not going to the movies, but so far as TV is concerned, there's nothing much actually. You know, Killing Eve is back on again and is very good this year, and we were enjoying Barry, and you know the usual fare that's out there, but. You know, nothing really special. Gotham wrapped up. I haven't watched it yet, so don't tell me about it. Orville is always a show that is getting better and better and better, and is really quite satisfying. So,
yeah, they pulled some interesting things in the season finale. They will be moving on to another season, so hang in there, Orville fans. I will just say that I found out about a TV series called Call My Agent, a French TV thing available on Netflix, which is, if you like that kind of stuff, if you like Entourage and...
the music is running out here.
I hear you. You can check me out on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page.
And there's more GABNet coming right up.